Okay, now here I've more or less gotten an even first coat or first scratch in on this board. Now I've used the carbon to put the design onto the Scratchboard, and I've carefully chipped out fairly even cross hatching. Now I've gone back and put a little more highlight in the windows. This has been about 4 passes, maybe not 5 passes, but as you see, it's been a process that goes little by little. It's not real fast and real quick. Now I actually used a fairly loose hatching here on the earth because I wanted to accentuate the swirl of clouds and just generally things that are going on. Now you can use a shorter or a longer stroke. I'm using a stroke that's about what I used to do when I would do a lot of ink work. I wouldn't use a very short stipple stroke except when I was doing grasses or trees, but I wouldn't necessarily do a very long one either unless I was trying to indicate wind or atmospheric sort of conditions. So this is just one way to approach it, is find a stroke that you're comfortable with, one that gives you the results you want. I find myself cleaning my board a lot because it's sort of, it really is a dirty medium because you're scratching off the black. So I'll have to vacuum the studio after I do this, and that's just part of the process. Here, I might want to go ahead and find the contrast between cloud and sea just in this spot. So don't be afraid to do an experiment to find some contrast once in a while, because it's not always going to be chip, chip, chip evenly. In fact, a lot of it's going to depend on your personality as an artist, what you do with this medium. I've done several boards here now just to warm up for the teaching, because I think there's a lot we can learn from the medium. So you see here I'm slowly bringing up. Now I'll do several more passes over this. Now it is not going to take me 50 hours to do this, but there will probably be about 20 in this board by the time I'm all done with it. There's a bit of time in this part being very detailed, and it's building off of this. Now I've got the Xerox here because it's all at this point a value study, and I'm looking at something that's backlit, and a lighting problem has presented itself, and I'm really spending a lot of time now creating a sort of atmospheric perspective lighting problem. So when I'm chipping here, I needed to know what values I was here. Obviously I went a little stronger with the contrast in the Scratchboard than in the photograph. I'm Also, I did not laboriously repeat the fleur-de-lis, but rather I just drew a free form in there and just started hatching it. Now I got very tight with the panes because I think you're going to need that tightness to read panes there, but that's kind of just a thought process that I'm going through. This is the famous photograph that Frank Borman took on Christmas Eve on 1968 as the astronauts were orbiting the moon. And oh wow, I have never seen this before. In fact, Jim Lovell got pretty excited. There's in the transcript, I think Borman's saying, "Calm down, Lovell." And we all agree it's a very exciting moment for mankind. We're seeing our world. Only the divine has seen our world from this perspective before. And so, you see what I'm doing here is I'm slowly building up to this. And so, it really is a little more insight into the creation. And later the astronauts would read from Genesis as they went around the moon. And it was a very exciting time for, I think, all of us, because the 60s were a very troubled time. And I think a lot of us were struggling with what did we believe, and we're being told that a lot of the ideas that had come from the past weren't any good anymore. It's a very confusing time. But when the men went around the moon and read from Genesis, this reaffirmed that there are things bigger than us. That creation is really an indicator of God's majesty. It's hard to, I don't think it's anything less. Let's brush it off again. And I will continue this process, and we'll check in with it a little later.